Good morning, traders. Welcome to the TMT Stock Market Strategy video for Wednesday, December 3rd. We'll get a little bit of a push to the downside late in the day after Janet Yellen had mentioned about raising interest rates. Looks like she is going to raise rates no matter what at the next meeting. Markets didn't like that. Plus, we had that tragedy yet again, another one in San Bernardino, California. Just amazing. My hearts and prayers goes out to those that were touched by that tragic event. Anyway, today we have Draghi at 8:30. Please keep in mind that is definitely going to rattle the markets. And then we also have Janet Yellen testifying this afternoon. So keep that in mind when you're trading. So what is going to happen here? Well, we've been talking about the last couple of weeks about Santa Claus rally maybe not happening. I mean, it's possible. We had a big move in in October. Get a couple of days that we pushed up, and then we've really went stagnant for about 6-7 trading days. Pretty much about a week and a half of November, and now we're really doing nothing but just kind of gyrating where we are at these upper end of the ranges. So it's yet to be seen. But I want to cover a couple things here because it's going to affect bonds, it's going to affect commodities, it's going to affect the dollar, and it's going to affect equity. So we want to put you at least on the right side of an idea of what is to come. Now we have the TLT here, which is the bonds, and that's the ETF. So this is something that it looks like that no matter what, everybody would think that bonds are getting crushed because they're going to raise rates. But right now, it looks like to me that they may think otherwise. So this is interesting. And there's a lot of market divergence out there, guys. So we've got to be careful with what we're trading here. So you can see this. We're in this downtrend channel. You could even call this a bull flag with the flagpole. You know, you got these several waves that are in here. So this is really right here is gonna be the truth of all to see if we're going to break out higher or we're going to break lower. Now, this is why I'm pointing out key points here, because if we break lower, right, bonds start to sell off, we get a push in yield, and then now we're going to have other areas that are going to be affected, and that's what I'm going to show you next. Here's the dollar, okay? So we have a big move in the dollar. This is the UUP ETF, the dollar trading at right around 99-ish or so. We did just get some big selling that just came in, again, ahead of what Draghi has to say, and, of course, Janet Yellen testifying. So it looks like that maybe the market's saying that they're not going to raise rates. So we got to keep that in mind. Now, if we get a move lower in the dollar, right, that's going to support some sort of commodities. But I wanted to show you, so here's a dollar, highly elevated, right around the 100, very, very bullish. You can't deny that, right? Now, USO, which is the oil ETF, is breaking down pretty hard. You can see at $12.48. And we had a lot of selling going on in USO, which would be obviously the tracking oil ETF, or if you're looking at the CL itself. And also that's the culprit partly to do with a lot of inventory, obviously, and also the Saudi Arabia going to increase production. That's not helping. And we're coming into pretty much the end of the weakness in seasonality terms with oil. So that's going to be something interesting. Maybe this sets up a play where crude oil is trading around $40. We can get a big push lower into the mid-30s, high 30s. I think you can start looking at that. And that's something that we're going to be watching closely, as well as gold, right? Now, gold, we're right around par in the GLD, is the ETF. Now, the gold contract, the GC, just broke up higher. We're at 1050 and just broke up to the upside. So there's something brewing here. You can see that now, and the equity is starting to kind of roll over from that little push higher that we had. So the gold, I'm really looking for now. If we get a big move in the dollar, or we get at least a pause in the dollar and a pullback, and then we get a little bit of a push to the downside in equities, that's going to support the gold. And this is where I'm liking gold here. I'd love to see a break lower in gold, which looks like we may not see that today. But if we can break lower in gold, under par or under 1,000 in the GC contract, I think we may have an opportunity to buy some gold here at really, really discounted prices. And that's something that I want you to pay attention to, okay? Now, partly to do that, I wanted to show you what was going on yesterday. This was Tuesday, excuse me. Yes, Tuesday. And, sorry, this was Monday. This was Tuesday here. Right here, you can see 12/2 Tuesday. And we could see that we kind of held up here. We broke back down into that range, and then we broke lower again. So this is something that I want you to pay attention to because this is really interesting. If you just look at these 15-minute ranges, guys, you'll see once you break lower and you get a little bit of a cluster and you can break this cluster area. And this is what I was looking at yesterday, looking for a movement. You break this cluster, this band, and you start to break down lower. This is something that you can really make some decent money on, okay? But you have to wait. You got to be very, very patient. Now, speaking of that, why I see that the markets, if the markets do sell off, it's going to help gold. It's real easy. Not only is the dollar right now a flight to safety, it's also going to be gold because there's always that fear trade that you go into the bullion. Now, it hasn't happened, obviously, because we've been up for the last 6 years. But if we continue to get this weakness in spiders, I think that, and in the market in general, I think you're going to get a really nice gold trade here. On top of that, if we do not make new highs, okay, if we do not make new highs and we fail again, I think the markets are in big trouble, and partly due to the transports, which I've been telling you this for months now. Watch that. If we start to break down and take out this lower trend line area of support and close on a closing basis, give me 2 closes below that, I think the market's going to flush. We had CSX, the report yesterday, lower than expected. That tells you what, guys? In a nutshell, that the companies are not selling their products. They're not selling coal, lumber, PVC, any type of material, cars, steel, computers, whatever it takes that the railroads and the trucking companies that move the goods and services around the country. It's not happening. This is a big bad sign here. Now remember, market divergence could happen and could take a long time to finally kick in, but I think it's going to be sooner than later. If we do not rally in the transports and in the Russell, I'm going to show you that next, okay? I think the markets are in big, big trouble. Now, we could override that, if you will, because we have seasonal strength coming into the markets. That could happen. And then we could just run stagnant here and, up one day, down one day, and really have a 3 weeks of chop or 4 weeks of chop, really, in trading, and then really kick in that market divergence and we start to sell off in January. So just keep that in mind for you longer-term guys as well. Would not be buying anything at these levels here, okay? I think the markets are in trouble, and once we get out of these seasonal tendencies of strength, then I think that the markets will show its true colors here, okay? All right, so let's go run through the rest. Diamonds, as you can see, still holding on to 20, but again, we had one push, really, one tradable move, and that was yesterday right around 2 o'clock. That was it. Pretty much that's what we've been getting the last couple of weeks. So if you have to wait patiently so you don't get caught. Lastly is the Qs here. Again, we had Google really running the show here in the Qs as well as Amazon. So don't let this fool you, all right, guys? All right, guys, I hope it helps. Have a good day trading. Please use your stops here. Remember, Draghi speaking, and then we have Janet Yellen testifying. So it's going to be an interesting day today.